Oh, guys, good, you hear? I am so excited. Guess what? I hope this isn't about your podcast again. Why, did you finally listen to it?
Before we start this podcast, let me invite you to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or any podcaster. I'm such a cute. All right, everybody, quiet on the set. The groom next door, take one. To the audience. In 3, 2, 1. Action! And he is your host, my mommy and daddy, Chris and Stella Green.
Hello, Pups and Kittens, and welcome to episode 115 of The Groomer Next Door. I'm your co-host, Chris Green. Sitting next to me, as always, is the fabulous Sarah.
Hello.
Well, this week, I'm going to have to go out on a limb and say we're probably going to have an extra long episode this week. We have a special guest this week, which was definitely something I had been really hoping to have on this show. This person has had a great deal of controversy just based off of what she does. I hope that's good enough of a teaser for everybody. A lot of people are against and a lot of people are for doing creative work with dogs. And in the grooming field, it is very required to be able to give customers what they want and extend yourself a little bit. And this person had done a dye job on a dog with safe dye and has taken a great deal of slack. And I've read many articles over the past month, I would say, and they're all the same thing. They're painted as if what she did was absolute animal abuse. So she will be on the show later on to actually explain her side of it, and we'll kind of dive into that then. And then we've got a plenty of show for you, and yes, a plenty. So let's just cut right into it and dive into the weekly roundup.
The weekly roundup, yeehaw.
This week on our weekly roundup, I'm going to actually go completely in a different direction. We're going to keep it out of the shop this week because something really important has happened this week, and I really want to actually just topic on that. Claire, can I get you to play some presidential music for us? Perfect. Well, what's going on here is Sarah has actually been voted in now as the new vice president of Phelps County Animal Welfare League. So thank you for actually giving us some time, Vice President, to actually be part of this. Congratulations. And dude, tell us all about what happened this past Wednesday during election.
Well, it was real quick.
That's not something you want to hear a woman say.
Oh, God. They were all pretty willing to stay in the positions that they had. And Glenda, the former president of Pakal, as she was hosting the elections, the president was done, I think, like lastly, but Glenda goes, okay, who wants to be president of Pakal? We'll start with volunteers and elect from there. And she's like, who wants to be president? Jewel? Looks over at Jewel, and Jewel's like, okay, I guess so. And then they're like, all right, so who wants to be vice president, Sarah? I'm like, I'll do what you need me to do. Since they need to have vice president, president, they have to have a secretary, and they need a treasurer. And I forgot there's one other one that they needed. I can't remember.
They do something in communications.
Yeah. But that was pretty much it. It wasn't anything big. We went over a few fundraisers that are going to be happening.
Now, do tell us about the one upcoming next week.
The one next week is a spaghetti dinner. And what they're going to do is that they're holding this big elaborate dinner. Well, it's not real elaborate. It's spaghetti. But the options are there's other options to have to eat there. There's going to be vegetarian. there's going to be gluten-free, salad and garlic bread. We all have to bring a dessert. So I'm going to buy dessert.
What that means is I'm going to have to go out as Secretary of Sarah and get that dessert.
Pick up some finger food or something like that, some brownies or something. And it's going to be donation only, so it's not going to be like $10 a plate or something like that. Just come, enjoy, throw a couple bucks our way to help with the spay neuter fund. So all that we receive.
Now that's part of the TNR, which is trap neuter release.
Yeah.
Or
well,
is it going to be part of that? I'm not sure.
That's
I wasn't
all
sure.
changing now that one of the members that were head of the TNR is no longer there. That still has a little bit to discuss, but the vouchers for folks to go get their dogs spayed or neuter, picking up dogs from the Rolla Animal Shelter and giving them a spay or neuter, stuff like that. And then after that is the Tail Trot 5K. That's still in the works. And then another one will be in April. I'm excited for this one. It's a paint. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, this is kind of a new theory to me. But there's this wonderful lady. Her name's Susan. And Susan...
We'll probably try to get her on the podcast.
Probably, yeah. But Susan said that she was inspired by my fundraiser I did at Shadowwood, where I took pictures of the dogs for Christmas and any other holiday. Give them the picture for $10. The whole $10 goes straight to Pakal. We were able to buy...
We've done a couple things.
We were able to buy a nice blow dryer for the Rolla Police Department Canine Unit. And we've already given Pakal about over $200 just in our photos alone. She came to us while we went to that couples paint for our Valentine's Day thing, and she was like, you know what, I would really want to hold a paint here.
It was funny. It was a lot of the time during our little fun outing was also business.
It's always business.
Look, we go out this morning to something for Claire, and it's business. It's always business.
It's always business. And so she said that they can charge $15 for a canvas and paint. The instructor will donate his time. She will donate her spot and half of the proceeds. So say every $15, that's $7.50 towards Pakal. You got 50 people if we can fill the room, and I'm pretty sure they'll be willing to do it again. And we just promote their business, and it's a fun, relaxed atmosphere. I love it, but this is the first one that I've tried to do my best to spearhead or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, you've done a great job. I mean, we had one set up before, and now, unfortunately, restaurant went out of business suddenly.
Yes, we were going to do a pizza in night where volunteers would come in and they'll clean up, they will serve tables, all this other stuff, clean the bathrooms.
Do dishes. Right,
for a certain percentage of what they brought in that night. And last time it was a pretty good outcome.
Outcome, yeah.
Because they had also raffle tickets and it was really cool baskets and such, door prizes. So I was gonna try to get that going again. Well, they closed. So sad.
And of course, next week, along with recording this show, we will then leave. After recording, we will head right over to Spaghetti and do that event. So next Saturday is a full work day between podcast, Spaghetti, edit. It's going to be a crazy Saturday.
Yes, and hopefully we have a real big turnout.
I am hoping.
Really hoping it'll be a big turnout.
I'll try to take some pictures and put it on our show Facebook page so you're able to.
Well, hopefully Pakal will have some photos as well.
Right. Well, I am hopeful. Now, another new thing this week that we are implementing to the podcast is we always want our listeners to weigh in on how they like the show, like, don't like, whatever. You have options by going onto YouTube, and you can make a comment on there. You can put thumbs up. You can even put thumbs down. Also on iTunes, there's a way of rating us as well. But then, unlike a lot of podcasts out there, we wanted to actually take it one step further because this podcast is the only one of its kind, which is very rare in the podcast world to have something that's, one of a kind. So we've come up with another way, and that is you can actually call the podcast hotline, leave a message, and it might be played on the actual show. Now, what's the number?
Okay, it is area code 424-395-7841. Again, that is area code 424-395-7841.
And, it's always a way of just having something that's a little bit different. We do not like the word unique.
And if you leave a jerk message, that will also get played.
As long as there's no profanity in it.
We'll bleep it out. I'm sure you can do that. You're pretty good.
I know how to bleep. Yeah, I got all the stuff in the studio to do it. Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want. I mean, literally, your opinions, whether, everybody agrees with them or not, is, your opinions. And we wanted to be able to say, hey, you know what? How do we reach out and say, you can leave comments, but how about calling? How about leaving a voicemail? That's a cool idea. So that's a new thing. So that pretty much is the weekly roundup in itself. I wanted to kind of, congratulate you on being vice president.
Thanks.
Now, again, this is something that we've known about this. I want to say October, November is when it first started being, kicked around. The can was kicked around then. We didn't say anything on the podcast. We knew about it. And as time has gone on and on and on, it's become more clear.
I just wanted to make sure that I'll do them justice and not just, oh, woohoo, look at me. No,
I got a title.
I want to do the group justice, and I want to be able to make sure that I can help as many pets as possible. I mean, that trip that we did to Illinois, that was great. And our check engine light came on in the middle of that trip.
Story.
Which right now is trying to get fixed, and we'll see if it can.
So, again, this podcast, and actually I did have something else I had to talk about. I just thought about that. Thank you for actually saying what you did. This past week, actually the past couple weeks, we've had a little bit of a problem when posting our stuff on Facebook. Part of being a podcaster, the way of promoting your show, especially if you're not one of these mega shows that have celebrities, is to publish them through social media. Well, as some of you know, I'm part of a lot of different dog groups. The show is not breed specific. Our content is great for all breeds, so it works kind of universal. But we've had the last 2 weeks, we've had somebody report the post to Facebook. They're not going to the group admins, they're going straight into Facebook, clicking report, and what it's doing is it's shutting down our posting. So a lot of people are not being able to see the posting, and it's becoming an issue. It's taken it away from all of you. And a lot of people who don't know about the podcast, and if they actually knew, would probably want to hear it. And that's what happened this week. This week has actually been really nice to be able to talk to a lot of people. I posted something on the group pages that I'm part of, indicating what had happened, that there is an individual out there that is reporting these posts. It's causing this kind of problem. When I do post, I'm real. My Facebook page is my personal Facebook page. It's not a separate one for show. It's my page. And by posting it, I want to actually interact with you on Facebook as well. When I post it on the group page, I want to talk to people. When you share the Facebook page, I always send a message, whether it's comment or a Facebook message, private message, saying thank you for sharing this. I appreciate it. We want you guys to hear the show. That's why we don't charge you for it. Even though the cost of actually host the podcast is higher than what you would ever imagine. So this week, by posting it, I've had a great deal of people come out supporting what we're doing. They're feeling, a little bit guilty for this person, which, look, nobody has to feel guilty. It's probably one individual that's causing this problem. But I really appreciate all the support from the admins to everybody who's on group pages. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the conversations I've had. I've talked to people from all over the world, and it's been absolutely wonderful. So I do have to say thank you, and hopefully this week will be the first week we don't get reported and shut down for 72 hours. And the problem with Facebook is they don't give a rat's bahookie about our side of it. As long as you hit report, they shut you down and nobody will get back to you at Facebook, and that's been a problem.
Take months.
I don't even think it'll take months.
Well, it took months when I reported that horrible picture.
Well, there's so many horrible pictures out there. There's profanity, there's nudity, there's a great deal of things that are out there that are actually against Facebook policy.
I think you're against Facebook.
I'm against Facebook right now. Their ethics are very, very inappropriate. So for that reason, I wanted to thank everybody out there who left comments, had great conversations with you, and I loved every minute of it. All right. Well, with that said, I am going to now move over to our news portion of our show and dive into GND News. Alright, this week on GND News, I have two really good stories lined up for you. One actually comes from one of my favorite places in Missouri to go to, which is Springfield, Missouri. This story, I was really surprised to see the video. Obviously, this is an audio podcast, and I don't put the videos on YouTube. I try to focus on what we do on there so that people can get an understanding of it. But the first one comes from Springfield. This is one thing that I really always have to say to everybody. Don't have a very long leash on your dog and not know what's going on.
Well, let's let them hear it first before we...
Well, that's all I was going to say.
To me, you always divulge too much.
And, well, you already know the story. So
that's all I was like, you know, just...
And the second one comes from Los Angeles. Is that good enough?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And it was raining.
It's pretty good. No, it wasn't raining.
It was raining. It was raining that when they did the report.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, Claire, play that clip.
Watch as this dog owner walks into an elevator as his dog, distracted, pulls away. The doors close with the leash inside, and the dog begins searching for its owner. When in an instant, the leash tightens and the dog is catapulted, pulled up with the elevator, slammed against the elevator door. The force dropping him back down. Brian Ussery, a building manager, runs towards the door. As he reaches the pup, the leash tightens again, and the dog starts flying through the air. The dog's lucky Ussery was there because he broke the leash, saving the dog's life. Ussery says the dog's owner went to the 5th floor and was expecting the worst when he finally made it back down to the 1st floor. He posted the video to Facebook, where it's been viewed thousands of times. Thankfully, the dog wasn't injured. I'm Miles Miller, Pix 11 News.
Okay, so as I said at the open of this is one thing that I've noticed, and this has been a constant problem, is people having their dogs on too long of a leash.
I've always hated when people use working leashes as an actual leash. I mean, I don't know how many times people come into the grooming salon, they have like a 16-foot leash wrapped up a million times around their arm. It takes them 20 minutes to get it off their arm to hand me the dog, and it's like, look, a 6-foot leash is good enough. Wrap it up a couple times around your wrist and away you go. My problem is that there's too many people who don't pay attention to what's going on. The retractable leashes, I do not care for those either, because those extend real far.
Yeah, they can go 6 to 8 feet.
They can go longer than that.
Well, the ones I'm seeing.
Well, the ones that are popular, they can go so far that they can cross the street without the parent, and it drives me bonkers.
Why not just have the dog off leash then?
And then the dog starts running on this retractable leash, and all of a sudden it stops and it yanks its neck back. But you really need to keep the pet next to you. Now, if they're on a working leash,
this is a very loud audience today.
I know it got loud.
Here we have a show in studio last week. This week we have a live studio audience. You guys are loud today,
right? So.
Did I throw you off there?
Yes, you always do. I have a way I'm going, and I'm so tired on the weekends that's hard when I get interrupted.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Retractable leash.
Yes, they suck.
Okay, so you criticize me on telling too much on the lead up, and you
don't tell enough?
You tell too much on your description. There you go. See, at the end of the day, we just talk too much.
It's just focus on your dog. It's not that hard. just you focus on your dog's safety, you focus on your safety, and go.
Well, look at a few weeks back on GND News, we actually had a lady in Colorado who just lets her dog kind of walk on a leash, faces in the phone, dog eats pot brownie, almost dies.
And then blames a pothead.
And then yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I was too busy looking on Facebook reporting people's postings for their podcast, and my dog ate a pot brownie.
I mean, I'm glad this dog is safe. I'm glad it.
The video was extreme, and I don't recommend watching it.
How's the HE double hockey sticks? Do you not realize your dog's not? Your dog's on the other side of that door.
Because he was probably on Facebook reporting my podcast as well.
I mean, it's like, come on.
I don't understand how he didn't see it, how he didn't realize it. I mean, I don't know. If ever I walk with a dog with a retractable leash, it's on a lock, and that dog is right next to me. I know when they don't move.
And I do it for a Chihuahua. Our 5-pound Chihuahua. Our 70-pounders are on regular leashes. You know, I would not.
It's ridiculous. So
long leashes and retractables are the devil. Unless they're used for a particular purpose, like working or whatnot. That's one thing. But yeah.
And now on to our second story. It comes again from Los Angeles, California, and it shows our dedication of the fire department that are out there and how much effort and their dedication, yes, our dedication to actually spotlight them.
Yes, there you go.
That's
one or the other. It can't be both.
You are ornery today. Put a microphone in front of you. No, you're ornery all week.
No.
Yes.
No.
All right. So again, on our way to Los Angeles. Let's go with it. All right, Claire, play that clip.
Moments caught on camera as LA City firefighters give oxygen to this dog right here. They pull this dog out of a house fire in Koreatown. And that is where NBC4's Adrian Arambolo is live right now. Adrian, that wasn't the only rescue that they did, though, overnight.
No, it wasn't. They rescued a woman from a burning apartment here in Koreatown. And I want to show you, our photographer, Joel Cook, found this mask, this oxygen mask that firefighters were using to help out her dog, to save her dog's life, essentially. And you can see all of this pile of charred and burned debris pulled out of that burning apartment complex. We even believe that we found one of the dog's toys here. So a great big mess out here this morning. But what great work by the firefighters. There's some video I want to show you right now. It gives you an idea of what the scene looked like very early this morning, right around 12:30 in the morning, just after midnight here in Koreatown. Those firefighters, again, administering a dog oxygen and water. Did not appear to be in very good shape. That dog appeared to have taken a lot of smoke in this fire that broke out overnight. And you could see their compassion, petting the dog, rubbing its stomach as they gave it oxygen. Again, this started right around 12:30 this morning on the 120 block of South Oxford. And it appears those measures that the firefighters used on the dog worked, because within a few minutes we saw it walking around almost as if nothing had happened. Some more video I want to show you right now. It shows firefighters helping a woman out of this apartment complex in a wheelchair. We're working on checking on her condition to see if she's doing okay. We believe she is. This was really quick and effective response by the LA City firefighters, able to knock those flames down in about 10 minutes. And that was so crucial because this is an apartment complex where the flames really could have spread to some other units. As we come back out here live to the scene, again, we're checking in the process of checking in with firefighters to see if they've identified the cause, to see how that woman is doing this morning. But again, it's a great reminder of the type of work firefighters are prepared to do on a daily basis, saving people's lives, saving pets' lives as well. Reporting live in Koreatown, I'm Adrian Arambolo. Whit and Daniela, back to you in the studio.
So there you go. Dedication by the fire department to save this bulldog, and it was absolutely just... And a few minutes. It only took the dog a few minutes just to kind of bounce back.
And bulldogs have such a hard time breathing in the first place.
I don't know how they actually got the mask to kind of work. I mean, you really had to seal the face into it.
I mean,
the
not
nose and mouth.
really. It's flat. I mean, if you look at a human's face, it's pretty flat.
I guess it would probably be easier for a bulldog than it would be another dog with a long muzzle. Okay, I'll give you that then.
But yeah, the dog gets up, pops up,
and kind of, yeah, like, hey, you have a Frisbee up there?
I just smoked 150 packs a day, or today.
Right, yeah. Good thing my owner is a smoker, or I wouldn't be able to hold this.
luckily, all was okay. Everybody was fine. Even the person in the wheelchair was able to make it out of the burning building. So it was just all around a good story.
I love the story. That's why it was so easy just to pick these stories this week. They were good stories and really good outcomes, and it shows, our men and women that actually serve the community, whether it's, law enforcement, fire, paramedic. They go so far out of the way on a daily basis, and they don't get the recognition that they deserve.
Right.
And that's one thing that on this podcast, we will always highlight their efforts, and I will always steer clear of the negative side of it. It's just a rule. It doesn't happen. Well, I had to say it was a good week for news. Seemed like there was nothing really bad in the news this week, and some great stories. So in that case, that will conclude GND News for this week.
Alrighty, folks, put your paws together for Guess the Breed. Guess the Breed. With your host, Chris Green.
All right, this week on Guess the Breed, we are going for a presidential highlight this week. I am going to highlight a president, past, present, or future. No, I'll tell you who it is.
Future, wait a second. I don't think Donald Trump's toupee is considered a dog for future. Just saying.
How do you know? Could be a Yorkie.
Just chilling on top of his head.
Could very well be.
Is that why he's all angry all the time? Damn dog just beat my head.
Long-haired Chihuahua. It's the right color. I mean, I'm just saying.
You get close enough to it, it goes.
Wait, I thought that was Donald who did that. We kid. We love all of the presidential candidates. Actually, I do. I love them all. They're absolutely hysterical. Listening to each one is just so much fun. But this president that I'm choosing, well, he actually made so many amazing inroads in our history that I couldn't help but choose him this week. This guy was actually born February 22nd, 1732.
Am I guessing the president? Or
no, I'm telling about the president there, contestant.
Well, why'd you tell which president?
He was married to Martha Washington.
Oh, God.
They were married from 1759 to 1799. His vice president was John Adams from 1789 to 1797. If you haven't figured it out by now, the actual president that I'm highlighting this week is
Barack Obama.
Well, you're close.
Aw.
But no, George Washington.
I was off by just a couple.
You were, yeah. You went
it's
from
like 3 or 4.
You went 1 to 44. I mean, they're like almost the same, right?
They're in the same row.
That is right. All right, contestant. Now this dog was his dog, obviously, and No.
You don't say.
I thought it was kind of a cool...
Dogs have been around that long?
They have. No, they were invented in 1803.
Oh.
Yeah, no. All right, so, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. And of course, as always, Sarah Plain, contestant. I've been trying to get Laura, but she's, she keeps saying no, but I know she wants to. Well, I'm going to get her in there eventually to come back and do it again. All right, so this particular dog breed, the lifespan is 10 to 12 years. The colors are black and tan. The actual weight is 55 to 80 pounds. And the height is 1.8 to 2.2 feet. Any idea? Any idea? Any idea? She's like, what?
I wasn't paying attention for most of that.
Oh my gosh. This is what I gotta work with. This is why we don't charge for the podcast.
So about 2.5 feet, you said, right?
It's pretty big. It's still, yeah.
That's not big.
Well, it's not big. It's big for some people. I mean, it's not big compared to our dogs, but...
And it's only black and tan.
Black, tan, white.
Where's the origin?
You know, it doesn't actually give me an origin, which is really weird this week.
Google it.
Well, that's what I have. You know, it's funny because...
Does it have a lot of hair?
No.
Swiss Mountain Dog?
Well, let me give you one more thing before you answer. You can
Black, white, and tan.
not to be confused with a doxy. I'm not going to give you the other one because that one might be too hard. Well, no, I'm not going to give you the other one. I mean, you can go with your answer if...
2 feet tall? Like, from... Or long?
Yeah.
Which one?
Wait, what was the question?
How big is it?
1.8 to 2.2.
Tall.
Yeah.
I have no clue. You've got me so confused.
So are you going to actually just answer with... Your answer is you're just confused, you have no answer at all? I mean, it's fine. I would not actually thought about this, but it would...
And do I groom it? Groom any of them?
No. If
No?
if anyone would come in, I would probably take it.
Black, tan, and white? So it's tricolor. Is that the only pattern?
No.
Or the other patterns?
Well, let's see. I said brown. I said black. I said white. It doesn't give you the list of all the colors, so it doesn't really matter.
Tell me where.
Well, they have like a red. There's yeah. Let's go with that. Dropped ears. I'll help you with that. I will give you dropped ears.
Are you talking about beagles?
That's your answer.
Yeah.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose.
No. It's a coonhound.
Oh gosh. You're right. I don't groom them.
It was such a unique idea that a coonhound. You know what? You never think about it.
I was gonna go with like a black and tan.
I was gonna say-
I was like 2 feet. That's pretty short.
I was gonna say good for hunting, but then I was like, yeah, I don't want to give you too much. I mean, I like to test your knowledge of breeds because honestly, you are an encyclopedia.
See, and hounds are not my strong suit. It's
Well,
because I never have to deal with
Yeah,
them.
you never really see them, so.
I mean, like I said, beagles come in for their nails. They
Yeah.
come in for baths. They come in just for the parents to say, take them. They're loud. Just take them for a little bit.
I do enjoy
I
them.
need peace and quiet.
I love the hound breed because they are adorable, but the howling that they do, it can be overwhelming. So.
Well, thank you again for making me feel stupid.
And thank you for playing Guess the Breed. And now on to Grooming Salon or...
Grooming Salon or...
Okay, now it's my turn to mess with you. Today is Grooming Salon or Tattoo Parlor.
Ooh.
Okay, are you ready?
No.
I don't care. All right. Grooming salon or tattoo parlor. I will give you the name, and you gotta tell me which one's which. The name might seem cut off because if I say any more,
Right.
you'll know right away. Okay. Ragtime.
Ooh.
Is that a grooming salon or a tattoo parlor?
Ragtime?
Ragtime.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And this is based out of St. Louis.
Right. You know, I swear I thought I've actually seen this. So I'm gonna go. Wow. I know. I'm gonna. I'm gonna go with grooming salon. I was
Ragtime tattoo by appointment only.
I was tempted to go tattoo the whole time, and I'm like, no, because I was thinking raggedy.
Okay. Now on to our next one. Trader Bob's.
That's got to be a tattoo parlor.
Correct.
Ding ding ding! Yay! I'm batting 500 right now.
Truman's Gentleman's.
Wow, are you sure that's not a brothel?
I know, right?
Truman's what?
Truman's Gentleman's.
Wow.
Based out of New York.
Wow. Well, since the first two were tattoo parlors, I would think you would throw a grooming salon in. So I'm gonna
Are
go.
you sure?
Yeah, I'm going grooming salon.
Oh, you're right.
Yay!
Truman's Gentlemen's Groomers.
Well, I got 2 out of 3 like last week.
I got another one.
Oh, you want to keep going?
Did I do Shaggy's yet?
No.
Shaggy.
Well, that's a grooming salon.
I think I got another one.
Was I right?
Yes, and they were based out of New York. Okay. Now, final one. This is my favorite one. All-Star.
Oh
Grooming
my gosh.
salon or tattoo parlor.
Well, okay. Because
All-Star.
of OC having the star, I'm going tattoo.
Correct, but they're
Yay.
based out of St. Louis.
Really? Yeah, what is that? The star is the OC star?
No, the star one was LA Ink had a star.
No, but OC, there's a tattoo. There used to be a tattoo late 90s, early 2000s. It was a star, and it was the Orange County, California, is what I'm talking about, not OC as in Florida. Orange County, Florida. I know that they're similar. Actually, they're synonymous. Both have a Disney theme park in it, and both are Orange County. But I'm talking about the one in Orange County, California. It was an
Okay.
OC star. You don't know?
No.
Okay. Well, all right. Now, how are you going to end this? With how do you end your segment? This is your segment.
Goodbye. Well, thank you for playing Grooming Salon or.
Well, I'm really happy to be joined right now with Summer Wilson. You've taken a great deal of blowback, and the article that went out early January, I think, was when I first heard about it, was about your Great Dane that you actually did a great dye job on, and you've taken a great deal of criticism. Now, the point of this interview is nobody's given you an opportunity to actually hear your side of it, hear your take and everything, and that's where I wanted to come in. That's why I reached out to you to actually get your take on it and hear your point of view. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Nobody's given me a platform or my point of view or a voice except for the people in my industry. But as far as like the average pet parent consumer these days that are not in the grooming world and do not show dogs and don't do any kind of professional job with animals, those are the platforms that I kind of get slaughtered on. But like I was saying earlier, there's 3 types of people in the world. There are people that absolutely love it and want to be just like me and want me to mentor them, and what kind of dye I use, what techniques I have, like, just like an average celebrity makeup artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the people that absolutely think that I'm the closest thing to dog torture out there. And then there's the people that go, I really don't like that, and I would never do it to my dog, but I have to admit, I didn't think I would appreciate the art as much as I do. It's really amazing. And they, people that actually sit there and stare and ask more questions than the people that are ready to say. So if you split that out in thirds, I got 2/3 of the people that kind of thing. So the other third, I choose to. I haven't gotten my feelings hurt one time. I thought in the beginning when I started getting so much slack or different responses that were just like, you would have thought that I had done something personal to them. I thought maybe this isn't going to be good. But as it went on, these are the people that like have nothing else to do, like absolutely nothing else to do, but be on the internet and try to pick apart anything that they think is cruelty to animals. All the people that support PETA, and if you have half of a brain cell and have a computer at your fingertips and have done any research into PETA, they're right up there with like a terrorist group. They don't believe that dogs or cats should even be owned. They're now being publicly traded as with stocks because they've made so much money and all they do is take in donations. They have euthanized themselves personally more dogs at PETA than the whole United States, if you go by year. They have to publish reports at the end of the year. And people think, like, I think when people read those reports, they just think that it can't possibly be true because PETA protests and advocates for the exact opposite of what they're doing. But the truth is, they've had lawsuits for going up and stealing pets and euthanizing them, having people, like, surrender pets to them and pretending they're going to find them a home. But they don't believe in dogs, cats, any animal being owned, so they'd rather euthanize them than place them. Really ugly things have gone on there and been exposed, and ugly investigations of people that have worked there. So, and these are the primarily people that are attacking me is that group of people. So, their opinions mean absolutely, like, nothing to me. And it is my sport now to annihilate them, like, via text with responses. Because I don't know if they're all from the same family, these people. None of them can spell. They have absolutely no grammar, punctuation. I can't usually make out what sentence it is. They actually, I call it drunk texting. And it's funny, and I can start responding to them, and they respond to me, and then, like, they just, by the end of the conversation, they just feel and look so stupid, and I'm able to screenshot that and make that their little harassment or, you know, whatever they thought they were going to do to me, like, the highlight of my day, because it is so funny, and everybody just can't wait every day for me to post one of the idiot comments, like I call it.
And I actually have, like I was telling you before we started, I've been watching each one of them. I've been looking at each one, and I've been reading them too, going, they don't make a great deal of sense. But I have a question about them. Have you looked at the actual user to find out, are they local? Are they in other states, other countries?
The majority of them are foreign. They have, their profiles are always fake. They usually only are posting stuff about, like, animal rights, PETA. Their pages are never social with their friends. It's always about spreading the word about, like, this person did this and this person did that, and we need to send pitchforks after these people and get these people, and I'm reporting these people, and that's all it is. Like, and I say 90% of the time, and people are like, don't even listen to them, don't respond, block them. I'm like, no. This is an opportunity for comedy. This is comedy relief. This is funny. And I have people that will just completely cuss me out in Arabic and just go, and you can tell by the symbols they're mad. They have to. And that's, I think that's funny too. Like, if I saw that somebody, I couldn't understand a word that they were saying, or their language is completely different from mine, and I wasn't fluent in it, I would not type them a 3-page essay, because they're probably not going to understand it, and you're wasting your time. But I have 70% of my, I used to get 100 or so, but now I get like 30 every day of just people just completely unleashing on me and just telling me that, like, you know, right down to, like, they're going to come in and do something to me and my family. They can't wait to see my head hanging on the wall. Just things like that. And I'm just like, you know, if I was maybe a weaker person, I guess, I could see where they would really be able to cyberbully me, and I would be completely freaked out. And none of that has ever crossed my mind.
See, that's what I was telling you, though. That's what upset me was the cyberbullying portion of it. It's, you don't have to agree with anything that's on Facebook or on social media of any platform, but you have to accept maybe that's a cup of tea to somebody else.
Yes, and it's like, you know, there are so many other things out there that are so much more offensive than the fact that I made my customers Maltese have a pink tail. Like, I just think there's all kinds of wars and terrorist acts and child molestations, kidnappings, all the cartel issues happening in Mexico, and they're not really mad at them. They're mad at the groomer in California who dyed their dog's tail pink. Like, that's the one they have to annihilate. And I think that's hilarious to me. That just shows me, like, their intelligence and where their priority is.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. That's definitely the priority. Now, the Great Dane, that was the main topic. Now, when I showed you album art for this week, you had recommended that I put the Great Dane in. Now, that's your dog, correct?
Yes, that is Fiona.
Okay.
I've had her since she was 6 weeks old. I picked her out through pictures when she was 3 hours old because I wanted her to, the markings, and I wanted the split face. Not in a zillion years did I think I would ever dye her. But I wanted a Harlequin Great Dane. I didn't even get the idea to dye her until she was 2 years old.
Here's one of the takeaways I have. Now, obviously, being in the grooming industry, I understand this from a perspective, and that is a lot of groomers don't really take care of their dogs. I've actually known a lot of them that their dog is the last dog ever to get groomed.
Yeah, the shoemaker's kid's shoes, exactly.
Yeah, and it's always very strange. Now, I will go out and say, I thought you did an amazing job. Now, again, that's just an opinion. It's very hard to actually get the details. Now, on the one thing that everybody wants to focus on is the dye. What kind of dye did you use?
I only use Opaz dye, and it's spelled Opawz. I get it from the owner, Carrie Feng. She's in China. I was introduced to that dye by a seminar that I had taken by someone named Kathleen Sepulveda. She's the curator of the Art of Fur, FUR, Grooming Academy in San Diego, California. She came to my salon, and I booked a seminar with her and invited all my friends to come for the day. And she went through, just different things that her techniques. And I have been coloring dogs. I don't know. I helped my mom in her creative styling contest because she was a groomer when I was 6 years old. So I've always had Easter puppies, and none of our dogs were ever normal. They were just they were never just white. That's boring. So I've always grown up like that. And I've had a lot of people when I was younger just think I was crazy because at that point I was the only one ever in that area around that had ever even thought about that. And now as time has progressed and people see that there's a market in it and there's a great deal of talent that goes into it, now it's its own thing. It's art form. And so now that before we would use all kinds of different alternatives that weren't made for necessarily pets, but they would be vegetable dyes or silk flower dye, things that you would get at an arts and crafts store that were as close to non-toxic as humanly possible. And now that there's a huge market on it and there's a lot more interest in it, now there's a lot of companies that have dedicated their whole business and research and millions of dollars in testing to just make animal-safe dyes. And I've tried them all, I'd like to say. I'm sure that there's more coming out every day, but I've tried them all, and nothing really compares to Opaz.
And see,
I've never had a reaction on it.
That's one of the things that's been left out of every single article that I've read is that they're just saying it's a dye, and there's a huge difference.
They don't know if I'm
there's no way of determining if it's human dye for human hair or it's a pet friendly, and there is a great deal.
Now that has happened. Before Opaz, the most popular one was Manic Panic. Now that's available at any hair salon. That is for humans. It's vegan. It states that on there, but what does that mean? What does a dye being vegan have anything to do with it? Okay, there's no animal products in it. That doesn't mean anything. But that was everybody's claim to fame. Well, it's vegan. Okay, so there's no chicken in it. That doesn't mean it's still safe for the dog. We haven't broken down that. I really break down every single ingredient, and I break it apart. I want to know where it comes from, where it stems from, how they get it, how they make it. And I haven't really voiced a lot. This is 100% safe. It's even though the company says it is, and I do believe them. I seriously doubt that people are going to make $1 million companies on something that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe in the research. I've used it on cats, my really sensitive cats, and it has just worked amazingly. Now, OPAZ hasn't done the testing that it needs to endorse cats or sell it for cats, so it's on the label just for dogs right now. But if it's safe on my super sensitive cats that even are allergic to hypoallergenic shampoo, then that tells me a lot. And it's not just some of the colors. Every single color has been completely safe. And I've done it on so many cats. And, like, with cats, you really have to be careful because they are so sensitive. If they, like, let's say you use the wrong flea shampoo and it has delimiting in it, they can actually go into toxic shock. You have to rush them to the vet.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know almost until it's too late. They don't show visible signs of it right away. So
I can go into a whole discussion on flea shampoo and how it's just not safe. And I think that could be a discussion itself.
Right. And so, like, if my cats will react to, like, the all-natural, quote-unquote, flea shampoos and not to OPAZ diet, that just speaks volumes to me. So that made me a believer, and I am completely loyal and dedicated to them. They have listened to me about making other colors, and there's not a color, a shade in the universe that I can't make out of the colors that they provide, so there's no reason for me to ever use anything else. And I just can't speak enough about it. It's an amazing product, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without it. I wouldn't attempt it with another product. And I really thank them for just existing, because I'm sure that there would be a lot more unfortunate reactions from dogs if we didn't have it.
And as you mentioned, you know, there are a lot of dogs with sensitive skin, and that sensitive skin could even come down to nutrition. There's a great deal that's where it starts with. And that's kind of where we started this whole thing. Is nutrition is the basis. That's your foundation on everything. A dog can come in, and I'm sure you see it on a weekly basis. Dogs come in with really poor skin, and the first question is always, "What are you feeding your dog?" And that's
I know. And they go, "Oh, it's a really good one. It's that yellow bag with all the show dogs on it." I go, "Pedigree," and they go, "That's it." I get it from Target. I go, "Okay, so you're feeding your dog cardboard."
Mm-hmm.
Sawdust, corn, and byproducts from animals that they probably can't even recognize anymore. And they go, "No, we feed them Pedigree." I go, "No, you're feeding them exactly what I just told you to feed them."
We have 114 episodes of just that alone.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guilty of the same thing. When I was a kid, I thought the bag with the show dogs on it was definitely probably the best one. And I used to really try to be able to afford Pedigree and not Purina, because Pedigree had show dogs on it. And I know that I was only like 5 or 6 at that time, but like there's a lot of adults out there that think that very same way, and I feel there's so much education out there that needs to happen.
And that's how this whole thing started. Was let's start with picking your groomer, vetting out your groomer. If they have the information and they're not just spewing out things that you want to hear, like, "Oh, we get your dog done in an hour." Well, why does the dog get done in an hour? You know, there's a lot of different things.
That's scary to me. If somebody can groom my dog in an hour, they're cutting corners and they're rushing and they're not sitting there trying to comfort my dog at all. I know what it takes to get a dog done in an hour, and even a small dog, it's probably not their favorite experience.
Yeah. You're going to have to skip a bath. You're going to have to skip a lot of things for that.
Oh, absolutely. And definitely, and then when you have a groomer that's willing, like, I used to have customers that were really frantic about whatever their issue was. They didn't want me to pick their dog up by a certain way. They didn't want me to... They would buy their own clippers and bring them in because they didn't want me to use clippers that had ever touched another dog. They didn't want their dog to be in the cage because they knew that their dog would feel abandoned, and their dog already had abandonment issues. So I needed to get the dog done in an hour so that it didn't have any abandonment issues. And I was like, well, my shop isn't run around you, and I'm here for the good of the dog. And me getting your matted 30-pound Lhasa Apso done in an hour is going to cause undue stress to your dog that I'm just not willing to do. And they just couldn't understand that. They go, well, my other groomer does it in an hour. And I go, well, I highly doubt that she would let you stay and watch that, does she? No. Yeah, there's a reason for that. And I groom out here in front of everybody where you can see me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can walk in the front door and have a small gate, and I'm grooming dogs while I'm taking them in and talking to them. I moved all my grooming equipment out there so they could see what I was doing. I'm very comfortable with that. A lot of groomers aren't. They think the dogs will react differently if the customers are coming in and out. And I can't tell you how grateful I was that I made the decision, because I could watch my shop better than my receptionist could. I could gauge the customers, what their vibe was and how they felt. I could talk to them about their prices, and they would just come to me because they could see what I was doing. And they would travel from far away. You know, there's so many grooming shops, or older ones, that you walk in, you have about 2 feet, and there's a wall and a half door, and that's it. Like, you're like, what's going on behind there? Like, is that even a grooming salon? It's like, it's the grooming torture place. That's what it is. And your dog just gets to show stuff back there, and you don't know what goes on back there. And it's usually blocked off because you really don't want to see what's going on back there. It's terrible.
There are some places now. I've been in 2 different environments. I have actually been in a spot like you're talking about, and I saw a lot of bad things happen. Probably a different kind of environment. It wasn't a shop I worked at. I just was there training. Didn't like that environment per se. I found like the dogs actually had more reaction to want to either go to their owner, or they were more reactive to everything around them. That was the reaction I had. You have a different take. I don't like the boxed off walls and not being able to see what's going on. One thing I like is we have a big window. You can look through it. You can see everything in there, and it's clear as day what's going on. Plus, I do videos of bass, and I put that on our YouTube, so it's like everything's exposed right there. You can see it at its full capacity. There are definitely a lot of places out there. There is some horrible stories, and we hear about it all the time. That's one of the.
There's a lot of things out there. I call those shops like Petco's, and there's the fishbowl with all the glass.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of groomers out there that they don't even realize that anybody's watching them. They just conduct themselves as you know, they're not trying to change the way that they're acting in front of the clients. They are really abrasive and offensive and abusive. Some of the dogs, like, right out, blatantly, you know, where the customers can see. And I think that that's really damaging to some businesses too, because if you have an environment where people can see, and most owners probably feel like that's all they need to do, and now everybody can see how we groom, and they can see if their dog is safe. It's like, well, you have to realize, is your dog safe? Are your groomers safe? Like, have you watched your groomers when they think no one else is watching them, and they're in, like, maybe a stressful situation because they had an argument with their boyfriend last night, or whatever's going on, usually in their personal life, drug use, all kinds of things, and they've had a stressful, you know, let's say, puppy cocker that can really just send you to the brink, and have they continue to act as if someone was watching them? Usually not. So it's like, that goes back to, like, how you pick your staff to begin with.
The environment. If the dog is breaking down the door to come into the shop, there's a good indication that that's a good salon. If the dog is cowering either after the groom or to go in there as if they're going to be harmed, there's a good indication that probably going into a bad environment. That's one thing that we always want to actually stress to people. Information to your clients is the most key. How did the dog do? Especially
your personal energy too.
Yes.
I could have had, like, a really bad night the night before, like, something happened. I got into a car accident, some tragedy, there was a death, whatever. And I learned, and I had to go to classes to, like, different yoga classes and breathing classes, and to be able to learn how to change your energy in 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a customer walking in right now, and you need to make them feel like they're so lucky that you're their groomer, even though you were just cussing somebody out or crying 5 minutes before. And you need to genuinely feel like that, because that's Like, if you don't, and the customer gets the weirdest feeling, they may not know what's going on, they just know that something's off, they're going to remember that all day, and they're going to be the ones that are calling you every hour to see if their dog's done.
Yeah.
And so for them to leave and have a happy feeling, the dog to stay and have a happy feeling, and you to groom that happy dog quickly and safely, is like, that's what a good groomer is all about. Even if their skill isn't up to par, like, safety first, and their skills can improve as it goes on.
And one of the things that I noticed, and I'm curious on your take, when you have a new customer come in with a brand new dog, could be, they just got the dog from the shelter or whatnot, how is your approach when you're dealing with the dog and the owner?
Okay, the owner is always the crazy one. And their dog usually follows suit. So the owner usually comes in like, what are you going to do to my dog today that's going to ruin their little bit of confidence that they have? And, and I don't want to leave my dog here because I know what you're going to do. That kind of thing. I really don't I just completely glaze right past the customer when they're acting like that. And I don't let them affect me at all. I first talk to the dog when they come in, like, I can care about the owner at first. Like, hi. Like, we're having a conversation. I'm down on the floor with them. I'm giving them treats. I want them, I think in my head that I'm at the shelter and I really want that dog and I want to adopt that dog myself. And so I really want to make a connection with that dog. And I give them 5 minutes of my time. I don't let the owner, there's no hostage situation going on here. I don't let the owner take up my time. I just say, like, this is what I do, and this is how it's going to go, and you're in really good hands, and I'll be able to make you happy, and you have to come back, and we'll call you when they're done. Your dog's going to be fine. This is the best decision you've ever made. And by the time they left, they feel it. And I've gotten really, really good at that over the years. And then when I first started grooming, I made the customers crazy because my attitude and energy was just completely off. Because I just didn't want to talk to you about how Fluffy had heartburn last night for 30 minutes. Like, I just didn't care. And I've learned to have a little bit of polish and do the balance all at the same time within 5 minutes and genuinely feel that way, because that's important. Sometimes I have to fake it till I make it and talk to them about Fluffy's heartburn, but I'm doing it as I'm walking back. Like, that's it. And customers, for some reason, like, I can tell when I walk up to them, they think they're going to run the whole show. They're about to tell me what they want me to do, how they want me to do it, what they want to pay, and if none of that happens the way they want to, they're never going to come back, and I'm going to be sorry. Like, that's a lot of customers come in like that. I can already tell with their body language and their energy, and I don't even feed into that at all. I really don't even take direction from them or how they want their dog. I say, well, this is it's a new baby, it's her first time. We're going to do as much as she's going to let me do, and I'm going to make her look amazing. And, like, they end up not even telling me what they want on their dog. They're just leaving. And I like that. And I've gotten to the point where I was so busy that I needed to hire more groomers. And I had such a hard time teaching them that because I can't be everywhere at once. And I had to teach seminars, and I had to travel, and I had to do other things, and I couldn't leave my shop. So it was almost like I was too good, and I had all these customers that only wanted me. Like, they just felt like anybody, like, there would be groomers there that were teaching me, that were better than me, and it was like, absolutely not. I don't even want them to feed my dog a biscuit. You are the only one that can make my dog look beautiful. And they I was flattered by that, but after a while that really wore on me because it was just not true. And I got overwhelmed. So it's important for you to, like, educate groomers. Whatever you think that your gift is and how you got there, and if they're willing to learn, like, they really want to. A lot of people really wanted to know how I did what I did, and I just couldn't tell them. I didn't know. It was just something instinctual for me, and I wanted to be successful, and I'm driven.
Did this affect your business in any way with all this negative reports?
Like, from Fiona?
From the articles that you faced, have you faced any kind of negative business?
Well, actually, I have so many supporters. They just constantly just tell me I'm amazing. They laugh as well. They think that my comebacks and my responses to these people are just the funniest thing ever. And I love that part of it. That's actually my favorite part. I'm always, like, eager to see what negative comments on there this morning, because I want to see which one I can get to answer me in the right way. It's like play, pups play. Mm-hmm. I love that. So I've turned something really negative into something really positive, and it's really done a great deal of service to me. So a lot of people get like stressed. They go, I don't really want to dye my dog because I got so much flack for that last time, and it's like I can tell. They're just so nervous about these weirdo people that don't even speak English and can't write it. What they might say about them on the internet. And I think that's shameful. I think that sucks. That they're able to do that.
Now, in our last minutes, what would you like to actually say to all the people out there who is either pretty much, let's focus on the negative, because that's pretty much what is out there, it seems like.
So when I posted that photo or the video that went viral of Fiona, she was up on a table. Yes, I've heard people say, that I'm blind. I can't see that she's unhappy. Of course I can see that she's unhappy. She's my dog. Now, is she really unhappy, or is she just being a Great Dane? Now, she's up high on a table. Now, she's a big dog, so she's not usually on the table. So when I have to videotape her and do a dye job on her, I have to put her on a table. So that's the number one reason why her tail is between her legs. The second one is that I have to actually walk away to film her. So she's on a table, and I've walked away now. And by nature, she's not the most outgoing dog in the world. Absolutely not. I'm constantly doing confidence building with her. She can get pretty easily now. So all those things together, and plus she was she doesn't like getting blow dried. She hates it. And I had just finished blow drying her. So in the video, she's just been blow dried. She's up on a table, and I've walked away. And that is all that is going on. And that's what her body language is about. It is not because I just strung her up for 7 hours straight without a break and forced her to get colored. For every half an hour that I colored her, she got a half an hour to just do whatever she wanted. She could lay down, which is what she likes to do. Because you can't make a Great Dane stand up for more than a half an hour. They're not really willing to do it. It's just something in the breed. They're very lazy. They're trying to get from point A to point B, and point B needs to have a really fluffy surface with padding. That's it. That's their goal, is to get to the next place to lay down. So there's no way possible I could make her stand up for 7 hours. And in the post, I said, it took us 7 hours because I gave her so many breaks, but it was worth it. And people just took that little bit of information and just made it into that I'm like, I take pleasure in torturing my dog. That's, it's just crazy, man. Fiona I can't think of another dog that's more spoiled than Fiona. When I pass away, if there's a reincarnation out there, I would love to come back as my dog. Period. Because that's just what kind of life she has. She has her own couch. She has her, the car I bought is because it's more comfortable for Fiona. Everything is about Fiona. That's just the way it is, and I think that she deserves it. And I think that she has brought so much to my life just by being her. That's she deserves that and more. And I just wish that some people would just maybe they could do a segment of cribs or whatever, and it's just Fiona's crib, and it's just wow, most people would want to live there. That's it, the period. You could
always shoot a YouTube video. Shoot a YouTube video and make it yourself. I mean,
I'm sure that somebody would turn that into a torture chamber. This is where Fiona's torture chamber is. It's oh yeah, there's another couch there. Definitely torturous. Whatever, no matter what, I'm really not trying to defend myself because I don't feel like I need to. There's absolutely nothing going on here that anybody in the world would find abusive. Nothing. Not even the way that she gets her nails trimmed. Absolutely nothing. And yes, she has her ears done. And yes, they saw a prong collar on her. The prong collar was on her because it was a sponsorship program. I knew I was getting professional photos taken. They wanted the bright pink collar on her. Now, did I ever even hook a leash up to it to walk her with it? Absolutely not. She doesn't need it. She's trained. I mean, she's better than my 7-year-old daughter. So but people automatically think that I'm stabbing her in the neck with a phone collar, tying her up for 7 hours straight, and I enjoy torturing her. And that's fine. They can think that. They're like the smallest percent of people. And I mean, it would be odd if I didn't have somebody that disagreed with it, right?
Well, everybody's going to disagree with anything. The one thing I'd like to actually, be the first one to say on this is the cyberbullying is the part. Now, I can appreciate the fact that you've taken it in such good stride, and I have to appreciate that. I don't think I would be as appreciative, but that's...
You have to be quick and...
I faced a great deal with doing this podcast, as I told you before. We face it all the time. It's not as easy for me to face those. But if there's anything to take away, I mean, here you're able to hear Summer Wilson actually explain everything in detail. You're a knowledgeable groomer, which that alone gets you above the rest. There's a lot of groomers out there that really do not belong with a pair of shears in their hand. You actually seem like you have the
absolutely agree.
And that to me, that's the takeaway I have. The one thing I would like to, voice out and say is the cyberbullying, that's the one thing that should stop. If you actually, as you're referring, it's almost like they're bots itself. They have kind of these made up kind of Facebook pages, so you really don't know much about
absolutely. And 100%.
It's easy to hide behind your phone, your computer, your tablet, and say negative things. It's inappropriate behavior, no matter how we look at it, and especially as adults. Even if it's kids, it's still inappropriate behavior. But
the only thing that I would say with the cyberbullying is just like fashion goes in and out. When people stop giving it attention, are uninterested in it, and basically don't see it, that's when it dies down. It's when people get really upset about it and they want to make laws and change it, and like you're saying, you want to focus on the cyberbullying. That gives it its life. That gives it its energy. What happens when things turn illegal? Like, let's say narcotics, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say like coke originally, coke from the coke plant was legal. Mm-hmm. It grew on a plant. Nobody cared about it. The minute that they realized that it was doing things to people and making it a mind-altering substance and could be dangerous, that's the minute that all the cartels got rich. Everybody started pushing it. It became a billion-dollar industry because people started to fight it, and they were worried about it. They tried to protect themselves from it. Now, if they didn't care about it and they just mowed it down like they do weed, nobody would care. So with the cyberbullying, I either completely don't care about it. I really just don't, because it doesn't mean anything to me. Some people don't pay my rent, right, and they're not my psychologist, so I don't care what they think. Or I make it so that they're gifting me, and they're propelling me to be happier because I was just able to make a complete stand-up comedy scene just off their stupid text. So it's like I welcome the negative reviews. Please, I'm more interested in the negative ones because those are the ones that are amazing to me. And then you know what? I stopped getting them.
Yeah, it probably will slow down. Once they find out that you're enjoying them, that's usually when it does go away. But
yeah, then I'm no more friends with them. Yeah, they're gonna move on to the next person. Hopefully weaker, I guess.
And there is the possibility. Well, Summer, I really appreciate you being on this week. I really do appreciate your time. And again, it was a great job you did. I'm not going to say you didn't do a good job. You did a great job. And, always feel free. You can come on anytime you want.
I have so many Great Danes and short-haired Greeks that are coming to me from all over the country. Some people are paying over $2,000 for their plane ticket because they want the Fiona look. I mean, I've tried Great Dane owners. It's a whole new thing, and I think that's cool. I think that's the thing I'm happy about the most. I'll be remembered at least for that. Everybody, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel has contacted me. So many things have happened because of that haters gonna hate column that was posted about me. That like propelled me overnight. I love that. And made like a lot of dogs that needed to be rescued, like they were on death row. No hopes of being rescued. There's so many pit bulls right now, right? That's the number one breed that's being euthanized. I have adopted out so many pit bulls in camouflage. And the owners that have adopted them out have moved closer to me so they can continue to get their dog died. Like, come on, that speaks volumes. They moved closer to me. Yeah.
That does.
So that dog would have been nice. So many dogs would not have homes right now. If it weren't for this torturous act that I've committed on our, fur babies.
Well.
So I don't feel bad about anything that I've done. I feel very fortunate that I was gifted with Fiona.
Well, I do appreciate your time. I really do, and good luck with the fight. I do actually have to say, you have a great approach to it, and I'm glad that we were able to actually hear your side of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Have a good one, and I'll see you on Facebook.
Yes, you will.
Well, I want to again thank Summer Wilson for being a guest this week on our podcast. I actually will sit down now that you've heard the interview. I was there, obviously, for the interview.
I wish I was able to talk to her, too. When you get two groomers together with a bunch of experience in between them, they can talk for hours. So it might have been a good thing if we didn't talk.
Yeah, this interview would have gone a lot longer.
Yes.
Now, your take on it.
I think she was spot on. Everything she said. Now, one thing people need to realize, too, is customers in different regions tend to act differently. Ours here are pretty passive. They don't really care. They're just like, here's my dog. Take a hold of him. Do what you want.
I disagree. I very much disagree.
Then you get the ones that were yanked out of the snooty parts of town, thrown into the country setting, and they still find it that they're so snooty that they're much better than anybody around.
I see a lot of, when I look at each week, every day, I look at things and I go, some of them are same. They expect the same groom, everything's the same way. But there are occasionally a good number of the different kind of, I want this, I want that.
See, when it came to her groom on her Dane, I didn't see a problem in it at all. The main thing is that the stuff that she used was non-toxic.
Right.
We used it ourselves. Opals, I've used it on grits many a times, and the orange, it stays a while, and it really takes to Chinese crescent hair like nobody's business. And I too have tried several different coloring methods, and I like the Kool-Aid version for temporary use that washes out after a while. And Kool-Aid is natural. You can drink the stuff, for goodness sakes.
Right.
And you add it with conditioner that you use on the dog anyway.
And the dog smells phenomenal.
Oh, the smell is just
You almost
beautiful.
want to lick the dog. It smells
it's
so
like
good.
Fruity, but yet still have that powdery, baby powder smell or anything. But she made so many valid points and so many I can see her smacking the people who say boo about her.
Well, she does on a daily basis.
Just a smack. She doesn't need to defend herself at all.
No.
She just loves to show how retarded the other people are. And I like that. She shouldn't have to defend herself.
There's nothing to
She
defend.
shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
The whole Arabic riding thing, that's a little off to me, especially since they don't really care about animals as much as, say, Americanized would.
Trust me, I know.
Well, yeah, you've been over there. You've seen how they treat their animals. It's not exactly good.
No,
And
it's not.
I understand how it'd be when somebody tries to attack me, and most of the time their grammar is incorrect. Their even just regular language. They don't know which way to use the word was. Or dangum. Those are my favorites.
Hey, I love that word. That phrase.
When you're screwing around, that's one thing. When you're just joking with amongst people, or you're just casual conversation and your country slips out a little bit.
But, you're talking about country slipping out?
But when you're there and you're trying to slam someone else, I'm like, oh, there's a meme that's out there that I love, and it's some dorky guy yelling up towards his mom, "Mom, bring me some meatloaf. I'm being a badass on Facebook." It's like,
so they actually took a portion of Wedding Crashers and actually used the line from Wedding Crashers.
Yes, with Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
But it's, people are like scared to leave their house anymore. They want to get on their phones. They want to get in on their computer. They think that the internet's the only place that they can ever have a voice. Well, yeah, it is, because everybody else keeps discrediting them. Oh, well, I'm getting, people think I'm funny, I'm stupid, so I'm going to delete this Facebook. I'm going to create a new one.
Right.
So nobody knows who I am and I can reinvent myself again. But this time I'm going to be a smarter a-hole versus my stupid a-hole side. And yet they're just an a-hole.
Well, see, I take it to a little bit of a different spot, and that is, everybody wants us to respect their opinions, but the problem with respecting your opinion has grown into this, well, you got to respect my opinion, and then slap your hand if you don't agree with them. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. Look, have an opinion, great. But the problem is that the other person has an opinion too. And when you disagree with, these dyes being put on dogs, realize from a groomer standpoint, an actual grooming standpoint, you're going to have, and I'm really surprised that she doesn't have a lot more customers based in this. I'm pretty sure she has a number of them. We have, a small margin compared to what, a city would have. But it's location. Dye.
Of dyeing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, coloring.
Coloring.
I don't like using the word
dye. I know, right?
People look at that as such an aggressive word.
Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, okay, to this, nowadays, people who go and get their hair colored at a hair salon itself, pregnant women can do it now. They can go and get their hair colored, highlight, whatever they want to. Pregnant women. But before, the dyes and the coloring used to be so toxic, it could actually hurt them and their baby.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I don't per se would do that myself. For one, I don't like hair coloring because I like to go natural color myself for humans. But someone sits next to me in purple hair, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm staring like, I wonder how that would look on me.
I see
but
a lot.
I'm not bold enough to try it.
And I see a lot of that now, like more now than anything else, like the hot pink and the purple. I'm seeing a lot more of that now, and I'm even surprised to see it. But with this, it's like, look, if you want to have an opinion, I love opinions.
Well, I'm just sitting there, poking holes in people's theory that this is dangerous.
But
it's
there's a
not
customer
dangerous.
that wants this done.
Well, even if they want it done, and it's the fact that it's not dangerous. That's the part I want people to realize and understand. There's nothing about it that's dangerous. They think the dogs are miserable.
Right.
Well, do you realize once that dog leaves that situation, is walking out in the beautiful sunlight, people are looking at him, and especially with a Dane. Now, multiple Danes I've ever met have a problem with socialization. They're either super duper social, or I want to hide behind my mom. And the majority are the ones that want to hide behind my mom.
Right.
That kind of thing. Well, this way, people start looking, they start paying attention. Not only is this a huge dog. Right. But it's also pretty. Well, you get more reaction. The dog gets the human interaction. And the socializing begins.
Oh yeah, because if they're being told, "Oh my gosh, you look so pretty," people are going to approach that
and
dog.
Then people start talking with a higher pitched voice, making it more of a baby talk, and they're soaking up the attention. The dog thinks, "Oh wow, yay, I'm getting attention," but they don't realize it's the color, so they're not going to stand there. "Oh yay, I'm getting colored." It doesn't matter. They're going to stand like that whether there's water dripping down their back. They're going to stand there if there's a treat over there that they want, but they have to stay here for a minute. This is just...
And it's a little bit...
I'm so frustrated with this. Because we've gotten attacked, too, on other Facebook pages when I did the rainbow color on Katana's tail.
Right.
Like, it washes out. This
Right.
was not permanent. It was airbrushing. I'm like, you can take this airbrush stuff and drink it and not be sick.
Yeah, right?
It is
That was really necessary.
Jiggle whatever you have in your pocket right next to us.
He was just telling how much he got paid. That's his paycheck. He was just jiggling.
I got 50 cents all in pennies.
Security, could you please make sure these idiots don't come on stage? Thank you. I'm gonna take my shoe off next time.
We do cutie marks, you know, the little spray paint, airbrushing picture on the side. We've taken slack from that. And it's like...
And we've also been copied.
Yes, we have been copied.
One of my designs was copied, and that was awesome.
But your design, what design did you do?
I did a really cool flag for 4th of July a couple years ago. 2 years ago.
I did that.
That was not yours. That was my flag.
I did the heart, and I drew it.
No, mine was an actual flag that was waving in the wind.
Oh.
And it had almost a Texas type feel to it, and
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I did the
heart
stencil.
The heart was awesome.
Okay.
Yours was awesome. Mine was a little bit different. Mine was, and it got taken and used by somebody
I don't
else.
see the point of buying stencils when we can make our own.
Well, let's be honest. It didn't look the same, and it was dripping. The one that was done, the
that
copy.
was bad.
It was bad, but
anywho,
understanding,
But I guess that's the biggest form of flattery is when people start copying us.
You know, I used to say that until I was being knocked around, and you were being knocked around. It's like, you know what? But I my encouragement that because I'm really sure a lot of people who are against Summer Wilson right now are listening to this podcast. What you have to take away is, yes, you're entitled to an opinion. Very much so. I don't think that you should be held down because you don't agree with it. The takeaway is there's a way of expressing your displeasurement.
Keep it to yourself.
Or keeping it to yourself, or attacking somebody. The cyberbullying is the part that I looked at. Now, it doesn't bother her. It fuels her. But to me, it's like, come on, folks. Cyberbullying and the Arabic, how she mentioned it. I'm pretty sure what they did is they went to Google Translator, wrote whatever they wanted, and then translates it to Arabic, copied it, and then just posted it. I doubt it came from the Middle East, and I doubt it came from somebody, actually thinking it through. It's too much work. So.
Well, like she said, it was just poor grammar.
You go to her Facebook page and she screenshots a daily, attack, and they are ridiculous. You look at it and you go, really?
Well, my thing is she's not the only person that's ever done this.
Oh yeah.
She's not the first person that's ever done this.
Nope.
She's not going to be the only person that will ever do it from now on.
And it's not going to stop it.
I mean, there are conventions dedicated to creativity and to creative grooming. Now, you look at a kid that has a mohawk in his hair. Yeah, there's parents gonna be, snooty with their nose up in the air. Oh, I'll never let my kid have a mohawk. It's just a mohawk. It grows. The person can have a ponytail by next year. I mean, come on.
Yeah, there's
but
no
you
excuse.
don't go to that parent and you tell that parent to go F off.
Right, there's no excuse for that.
And if a parent wants to put temporary hair color in a kid's hair and the kid likes it, well, then you know what? That's what they're going to do. You don't go to that parent and tell them that parent's ridiculous, retarded, and stupid. Now, I personally won't put dye in Claire's hair because, again, she has beautiful, natural, brown hair.
But there are parents that will.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go to them and go, what are you doing to your child? I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and I'm telling Claire that your natural beauty is important and you're beautiful the way you are. Now, when she gets to a certain age and she wants to do pink in her hair,
Not my child. I'm just kidding.
As long as it doesn't look trashy, she can do it. And that's the thing. This wasn't trashy. This was art.
It was very, very good.
I mean, it looked like it just popped straight from Lisa Frank page.
Yeah.
The lines, the blending of the colors were so gradual.
Yeah, and the selection of colors were absolutely vibrant, and they worked.
And Opaz, like I said, I've had it on my skin. I've had it I think I had some of it popped in my mouth by accident when I was trying to get grits. The orange on grits.
With these shakes and everything, you can get it really... Yeah, and you know what? Again, here's some people who actually have worked with OPAWs, worked with dying. That dog loves it.
Well, and the OPAWs is better than anything else. I've tried. See, OPAWs, you don't leave it on forever.
No.
You leave it on for a few minutes and you're done. Now, if you do the Kool-Aid and the hair color...
That takes a while.
That takes a while. The Kool-Aid and...
That's what this is.
And, every once in a while we get stopped and asked what we're doing since we are sitting in the middle of a public area. So someone just asked us about what we were doing.
Well, they caught it on actual track. It's on track right now. I'm not going to edit that out. I'm going to keep that in there. It's cute. Actually, it does happen. It happens more often than not. I usually edit it out, like, but it's fine.
It's fine with me. Now I don't remember what I was talking about and I don't feel like going back and finding out.
Playback. No, you're what...
I remember.
I'll stop talking then.
Sorry.
I'll forget what I was thinking.
Good. Because it's probably better.
Don't lose it.
The OPAWs doesn't need to stay on the dog very long. And then some of the other colors do. Now the one coloring that I am annoyed with, I will never use again, is Critter Color.
Yeah, that did not work well. It has to be specific hair for it to work.
Yeah, you can't use it on Chinese crescents.
That was awful stuff.
And it wipes right off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you barely put water on it and it's gone.
Right.
So it's like, I might as well just get my airbrush and do it without getting the dog wet again.
Right.
And you blow dry it.
And the airbrush stuff is just as safe as Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Kids actually use it. The stuff, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them actually have put it in their mouth. So it actually has to be safe.
The coloring that I don't agree with myself personally is that dog glue tattoo stuff. It hardens, and it takes a while for it to break apart and peel off.
Yeah.
I don't care for that myself. It's pretty and all, but
and
if the dog's in the middle of shedding, and you put on a Jack Russell, yeah.
And with a lot of this stuff, you have to understand that this is by request of the owner. And this is where I was going with at the very beginning of all this. If a good groomer refuses to do it, and I don't know a lot about her work. I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen her end designs. She has what I'm looking at and what you looked at. She has great lines. She does a great job in grooming by photo. The thing is, I would, and again, it's from being in this work to understand it. I would go to a place like, they come to us. Why people come to us is because we're proven. You go to her, she's got proof of what she's done and what her work is.
We'll see.
If she refuses to actually do it, an owner of a dog, obviously she did her dog, but an owner of a dog is going to go elsewhere. And what does that open up the chances of? They're going to go to a groomer that doesn't use proper quality equipment. And then if they don't use that stuff, they'll just use Revlon and put Revlon on a dog and not care, because that's what happens when you go to an inferior groomer. They don't care. They're not going to worry about it. They're worried about getting the dog in and out and rushing through it and putting inferior product in their dog.
And she makes a very valid point. That's why I would trust her just by listening to what she has said. Her beliefs are a lot like mine. I take my time with the dogs. I play with them. I love on them. I show them that I am Aunt Sarah. I am not the groomer.
Now, why else would they be breaking down doors to come into the shop?
Exactly. And why all my I have dogs that I call rehab dogs. Dogs that other groomers have ruined, and then I have to rehabilitate them to love grooming again. And we've had several that have come leaps and bounds from when they were before. I've gotten dogs off of medication because the last groomer just couldn't handle the dog moving so much.
Sedative. I remember the sedative story. And
yeah, right.
If you don't know about that story, you can go back a few weeks. We had a story about it, or go on our Facebook page. We actually have a photo of the syringe the person brought. What the H that was about.
So, she takes time to love the dog. That right there shows that she doesn't have a dog stand on a table for 7 hours coloring.
Well, she explained that too.
Well, exactly. But this shows proof.
Right.
I look for red flags in when people talk.
Yeah.
Okay, they say one thing here, but they said another thing here, so something doesn't match up. One of the two is correct. Well, no, everything she said, she had to back up on her own. She continuously goes in and wants to build a relationship with the dog. I'm the same way. When a customer comes in, I'm about that dog. Because who am I going to work with for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? It's that dog, not the owner.
Yeah, but you are very customer service. You're out there a lot.
I take my time with the dog, and I do about 5 minutes with the dog too. And then somebody takes the pup back. Well, see, you are there to do the washing, so I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
That frees my time up to have a relationship with the customer too. But there are people that sit there and talk about something that doesn't need to be, a 20-minute conversation for, and that hurts our bottom line in a sense, because time is money.
Right.
I have all the time in the world to spend with the dog. I don't have all the time in the world to spend with the owner. And I don't care for an open concept grooming salon myself, because dogs have been known to freak out and try to jump off tables. They try to not pay attention to me. They want to know where their mom's at.
Or it's a random person walking in that may sound like their mom or dad.
Yep.
That's why I'm against it. I was in it, so I didn't like it. You were in something similar to it.
Yeah.
So you know as well.
See, I bring people back into the bathing room where it is blocked off from the front. Well, we have retail. We can't afford for anything wet, anything moisture to get out to the front. So we have to keep everything controlled. But I walk customers into our bathing room all the time, and you're just sitting there washing. I don't give you a heads up. I don't flick the lights. I'm bringing a customer. Be careful what you're doing.
And that goes with not just you. Laura does it. Craig's done it.
We walk them in, and sometimes whoever's working the front is in the back, and we have customers come into our salon saying, "Hey, can I get some help?"
Oh yeah.
And we're like, "All right."
Yeah.
We have a big window. They can wash the entire time. And she's right. A grooming salon can look like a torture chamber if it's not taken care of properly. If you have scissors all over your table, if you have the matting tools not put away properly and they're just hanging out, it can look bad. And if you're trying to mat a dog and you're going a million miles an hour it just looks like you're stabbing the poor dog. Well, you gotta be careful with that, because perception. They're not professional groomers. That's why they're coming to you. So you got to watch your perception. Mm-hmm. And she's right. There's nobody that's going to do it better than you. So you have to make sure your staff is up to date and make sure your staff's on point. Luckily, we don't really have that problem.
Oh, are you kidding? I got to put up with you all the time.
Because I handle my customers. When other people check in our dogs because they show up super early and we're not there, things get lost in translation.
Sometimes it's just a simple phone call, though.
But it's gotten to the point where all our dogs drop off, same as last time. And for the most part, I have their grooms memorized. And we see about 6 to 10 dogs a day, 5 days a week. The only reason why we have cards is so I know what the right price is. And you get to the point where people are like, same as last time. And if they want something different, they send me a Facebook message. They send me a text message. My life's an open book. You can read it. I have no problem with it. And she's the same way.
Yeah. Well,
and to see someone like her get attacked for stuff that I do myself.
A lot of groomers do it. That's what I don't understand.
She's right. She's getting support from other people in our industry because we know. And she is also right. People need to be educated. The reason why dog food is starting, people are starting to realize there's good dog food that's better than pedigree or Purina, is because they're being educated. Well, we need to do that, the same thing with grooming.
There's a podcast for that. Oh wait, that's ours.
Oh yeah.
Well, in closing thoughts, anything else you want to add to this?
Well, just as long as she keeps up her standards, I'm looking forward, and hopefully she doesn't give you more slack. I appreciate.
I think she wants it. She enjoys it, which I have to appreciate that.
I appreciate the fact that she isn't wrapped up with, oh my gosh, they're hurting my feelings. Oh my gosh.
I wonder if we're gonna get attacked for this as
I'm glad she's not taking that route. There's
Right.
2 ways you can take it. You can take it to where your backside is going to hurt because words are hurting you so deeply. Or stand up in front of it and say, you know what, you are a moron.
Right.
And if you can't think for yourself, there's a bridge.
Well, by that sound, Claire has turned on the applause sign, so I guess that means we got to get going here. I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week.
I'm Sarah Green. Make sure everybody realizes life is so short. Play with your pet.
Claire.
I'm Clay Green.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime. All right, good show, everybody. That's a wrap.
Was without doubt the worst episode ever. Rest assured that I was on the internet within minutes, registering my disgust throughout the world.